Here I am. Hey there, Grateful Gang. It's Lauren Blanchard-Zaleski, the creator and founder of the group Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. And welcome to Gratefully Living the Chronic Life. And Happy New Year. Happy 2021 to all of you. If you're new to the broadcast, what we do every Thursday, it's Thursday night, my time, is we talk about different topics, generally relating to how to live our best, most fulfilling and wholehearted lives. A lot of us live with chronic pain and illness, and that's either physical or emotional pain, because pain is pain. And let's face it, 2020 was a year of pain for a lot of us, a lot of people. I think just about everybody, actually. In one way, shape, or form, we all lived with pain. So I started this broadcast. This is episode 32, believe it or not. Which is kind of crazy. I started airing last April. And it really was kind of specifically for Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain and for people that live with chronic pain and illness, and just kind of discussing topics that, we live with every day, and how to kind of, live happy and fulfilling lives despite all that pain. But then as the broadcast started growing and we started getting more viewers, we broadcast on a few places. We're on Facebook Live. We are in the group, which I mentioned. We're also on my Gratitude Addict Facebook page, my personal Facebook page. We're on YouTube. So we kind of my website. We're kind of all over the place. So we've been getting viewers that don't necessarily live with, chronic pain, illness, injury, but live with anxiety, depression. I mean, like I said, pain is pain. So the topics we go over each week pertain, I would argue that it's really for all of us. And I hope that you get a little something out of it. So like I said, my name is Lauren, and I am your host each week. And we have guests quite frequently. But tonight it's just me that you're dealing with. And we've got a great topic that I think is a really good one to start the year. What is the topic? I called it Continuing Your Growth in 2021. And I wanted to say that I kind of, rather than, I'll get into intentions versus resolutions in a minute. Those of you may have read my blog post or have been in the group where I kind of focus on doing New Year's intentions rather than resolutions. And I have a reason for that, but I wanted to kind of talk about continuing our growth rather than like starting fresh for the new year, because that's what a lot of people talk about. And although the new year does allow us to kind of start fresh and new and kind of wipe our hands clean of the awful year that we had, as usual, I kind of try to put a positive spin on things. And the way that we had to deal with our struggles in 2020, for me at least, and I bet you all would say the same, that I grew so much last year. And not just, out from being the pandemic and eating a lot, but I mean, just internally, emotionally, spiritually, I grew a lot. So I wanted to focus this episode on a couple things that we can do to kind of foster more growth in 2021. But before we get started with that, I want to say hi. This is an interactive broadcast, by the way. So I very much welcome comments, ideas, questions, or whatever from everybody who's viewing. So let's see who we've got here with us so far. One of the things I want to talk about tonight is vulnerability and showing like our authentic side. I took a seminar. I air this on StreamYard, which is a software, and StreamYard's wonderful. So I thought I'd be all like techie, which I'm normally not. And I took this seminar a few days ago on like how to do good broadcasts without a lot of the expensive equipment. And so I asked a question on how to get rid of the glare in glasses. Now I have this ring light. I don't know if I can show you the ring light. Where's the ring? There's the ring light. The ring light is what causes me all of my issues with the glare on my glasses. So I said to aim it up at the ceiling and then it'll bounce down and you won't have glare. I still have glare. All right. So that's why I live with my glasses like this a lot, because I need them for distance, but not for reading. So let's see who we've got here with us in the new year. Who do we have? So I try to get all the comments on screen if I can, and if we have the time. So let's see who we've got. Pamela, oh, why is that showing up so small? Pamela Creighton's here. Hi, all. Good to be back. Good to have you back, Pamela. StreamYard did some new things for the year, too, but I thought, let me just check something here. Oh, they made it smaller. Well, I do not like that, but they did offer, you can do block or bubble, or, oh, the default is bigger. Shoot, I liked the bubble, but it's kind of small. All right, I'm going to use the default. So hi, Pamela. Glad that you could join us. Glad to be back with us in 2020. Facebook user, hi, Lauren. Hi, everyone. If you show up as Facebook user, I know I say this every week, but if we have new people joining us, that means that StreamYard, if you are from inside Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain and watching from in there, we are a closed group. So because of permissions and all of that, you have to give them permission to use, for them to use your name and like this, your picture from Facebook. So hi, Lauren. Hi, everyone. If you wrote that, hello. I'm sorry that I can't see who you are. If you want to write back and say who you are, that would be wonderful. Thank you for joining us. Jen Leos is here. Hi, Jen. Glad to have you join us. Another Facebook user. Hello, everyone. Quick story. And those of you that joined me last year, you know this. I tried to be all clever at one point last year with the Facebook users, and I tried to give a cute nickname to the Facebook users and use the first initials of Facebook user. And clearly, as it started coming out of my mouth, I decided that wasn't a good idea, if you know what I mean. So hello, Facebook user. Thanks for being here. Campbell Portland, my niece. Hey, Aunt Lauren, super excited to start the new year with your broadcast. You look very pretty today. Thank you. I was just looking and seeing that I need to get the natural blonde put back in my hair. I am way due for the salon, and there's nothing like being live on the air to discover this. But thank you, Campbell. Campbell is actually, you guys that have been tuning in, she's my 14-year-old niece. I have a lot of family that watches and are very supportive. She's become quite the writer for her high school newspaper, and she wrote an article right before Christmas on gratitude. And I asked her if her school would give me permission on using it on my website, which is gratitudeaddict.com. And they just got back to her and said yes, and she's redone it a little bit to focus on gratitude in the new year. So hopefully, I meant to get it up today. I was not able to, but hopefully tomorrow. So hi, Campbell. Thanks for tuning in. Another Facebook user. Hello, everyone. Hi, Lauren and friends, says Jen Leos. Hi, Jen. Heidi's here. Hello, Heidi. Happy New Year. My mom's here. X's and O's. Hi, Mom. Julia Shmerlov. Hi, Julia. Thanks for being here with us tonight. Oh, Arlene's here. Hello, everyone. Hi, Arlene. Thanks for being here. And Facebook user says, it's me, LOL. I'm sorry, I can't see. I know you can see on your screen, but on my dashboard with, what is it called, with StreamYard, I cannot. So I'll be able to see afterwards, after the show's over, I'll be able to comment to you, but on the screen here, I'm not. So, but thank you so much for being here. And Jennifer Marler, MD, says, hey, Lauren, Campbell's a great guest for us, isn't she? She's wonderful. And my mom, the natural blonde, has been missing from my hair for months now. See, this is what I love about our show, is we're all very authentic and vulnerable, which was going to be kind of my number one tip for tonight's show and finding joy in the new year. Oh, Linda Edwards, it was me. Hi, Linda. Glad you could be here with us tonight. So I'll get to more comments in a little while. So what I wanted to do for this episode is kind of talk about 3 things that I am committing myself to doing this year in 2021 to kind of continue on. Oops. There we go. That's authentic. Oh, my shirt. Every week, if you're new to the show, every week I wear a different shirt, usually having to do with gratitude. And I have a new one tonight. It says, start each day with a grateful heart. And I keep getting these t-shirts showing up on my doorstep from anonymous people who are also known as my nieces and nephew. So there's no card attached, but when they find these t-shirts for me, I get them in the mail. So Thank you, McKenna, Lindsay Campbell, and Alexander for this shirt and all the other ones that you send me. So before we go on, if you're new to the show, the Facebook group is called Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. You can also, if you don't want to be a member of the group, you can find me on my website, which is gratitudeaddict.com. And I've been doing a lot of writing in the new year. I was going to ask you guys what you did for the holidays. The holidays were really great for me in a lot of ways. In some ways, they were they were sad because my family and I decided to social distance to be safe. And boy, I sure feel like I know the pandemic has been hitting hard for, 9 months or so now, but before I didn't really know anybody that had it. And now I'm starting to know people. It's hitting very, very close to home. And I know that's just a matter of luck. It's been hitting everybody, thousands, 3,000 or so people a day for months now, but it's starting to hit very close to home for my family and I. So we did decide to social distance. So there was no, other than my family, my husband and my kids, which was wonderful. There was no mom and dad, my sister, her kids, my brother and sister-in-law, their boys. We were just the four of us. In a way, it was really nice. It was intimate. I didn't have to put on the Christmas brunch that I normally do. Now, I'm saying this, I enjoy the Christmas brunch, and my kids and my husband, we all say that that's our favorite part of Christmas. But I put this unneeded stress on myself when I do it. All right, this glare is driving me nuts. Should I just get rid of the glasses? Maybe I'll just get rid of the glasses and squint. So much for my special tip with the ring light, trying to be all technical and all that. But anyway, so the holidays were different this year. And I'd love to hear from you guys how your holidays were different and how you kind of got around it, how you coped with the holidays being different. I sure hope that by this time next year, we won't have to deal with the different part. Now that the vaccine's out, people are getting the vaccine, that are choosing to get the vaccine. And, I sure hope that we don't have to worry about being away from family and friends for long. But anyway, so my holidays were very, very low stress. And I did a lot of writing on my site. I previously hadn't done a blog post since April, I think. And then just within the past 2 weeks, I've done about 4 of them on gratitudeaddict.com. I don't sell anything, by the way, so I'm not trying to promote anything. It's just, I didn't used to promote my website very much because there wasn't a whole lot on there, but I've recently redone it and posted some really good articles, some of which I'll talk about tonight. So that's the website, the group Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. Each one of these shows is recorded. So if you cannot make it live, you can view it on this isn't the group, silly me. This is my YouTube site. So you can find us on YouTube at Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain.com. And you can see all of our previous 31 episodes and soon number 32. And I'm amazed after doing this for, since April, how many topics we can really come up with that pertain to living our lives and just trying to live our best lives. Life, I've known this for a long time, but I said it to somebody today who's going through a rough time and actually got some really good news today. That life is so hard. And it's really struck me lately, even more than it has in a while, how difficult life is. But it is so, so worth it to put the work in and to get the beautiful blessings that we get. And when you practice gratitude, like we promote in the group and here every week, and you find those blessings amidst all the crap, excuse my language, Campbell and company, it's so beautiful. What we've been through this past year with COVID, who saw that coming? None of us saw that coming. But when you see the light at the end of the tunnel, which I think we are, and we have our eyes and our hearts open to the beauty that surrounds us, because we take things for granted. And, we noticed this a lot with the pandemic when we had to change our lives. We had to become super resilient. super adaptable. We had to change so much about our lives. And I realized how much, we took for granted that you can go out, go to the grocery store, go hang out with friends. All of a sudden we had to change that. If you decided to change that, I did. And so now it's become almost kind of the norm. I don't go out much. I have to say, I choose not to go out a whole lot with my condition. I worry a bit about getting sick, but I've gone out a few times. And since I love my writing, and I'm writing the book and the website, the blog and all that, I don't go out a whole lot. But so that's okay for me. But for other people I know, working from home, having to deal with, if you've got children that you've got going to school from home. My son goes to college. He's home. He goes to Penn State, and he got a note over the holidays that they're going to be home now doing school from home virtually until at least the end of February. It's just everything's changed. And so my point is, just in 2020, we learned to be super resilient. And it was difficult. It was hard. But because of that, I feel like we've gotten to see the beauty of life as long as we're open to seeing it. I know there's so many, I think I talked about this our last episode. Our last episode was on joy. And I think it's my favorite episode that I've done so far. I'm not really sure why. I think I talked a lot and learned a lot about the difference between happiness and joy. And I didn't know this stuff until I researched it, that happiness is really kind of like an immediate thing. Something good happens to you, you get good news, you're happy. Joy is really the long term. Joy is when you kind of group together happiness, and you have joy in your heart. You have joy as your mindset. You have joy as your kind of your livelihood. And that is, for me at least, that's what I aim for, is a joyful life. Uh-oh. Somebody's battery's going low. Somebody better plug in. Okay. So, and that's what I hope to gain with you guys from these episodes, is trying to find a sense of joy amid all the difficulties that we deal with, whether or not it's pain in a physical sense or emotional sense. So many of us over the year have gotten depression and anxiety, which is a very normal thing for people with chronic pain and illness. And I know is a very normal thing for a lot of people. I mean, we don't talk about mental health enough in this world, in my opinion. I wrote a blog post recently, and I mentioned Carrie Fisher, who passed away, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 Christmases ago, but she was a big proponent of talking about mental health. And I gave her so much credit because it was a difficult thing to do, and people are embarrassed by it. And I know there's nothing to be embarrassed about. If we don't talk about it, we're not going to heal from it. And I've done shows before where I've mentioned statistics on the people that live with chronic pain. Chronic pain, I think, is considered living with, regular pain for 3 months or longer. I'm going on 20 years myself, and I know many of you are as well. And it would be really, really difficult to live with chronic pain and not be depressed. So they kind of go hand in hand, but this year has brought about so much more, I think, mental illness in this world, which is understandable because things have just become so hard. I worried a bit about people kind of wanting to wipe their hands of 2020 and saying, 2021 is here. And it's great to look forward, I think, with hope towards that new beginning and that new future. But I was kind of afraid that people were going to think that it was just going to automatically be good. And not getting into much detail, but as we saw last night, things are not automatically good. So we can't rely on outside sources to find our happiness. We've got to seek that within ourselves. We've got to find that ourselves. And if I can finally, I guess I'm sort of getting into the topic now, but like I said, we can't rely on a new president. We can't rely on things like that to find happiness in our lives. We've got to find it within ourselves. And there's ways to do that. There's ways to find joy, which is what we talk about every week. So let me get to a couple more comments because I'm just yapping here. Oh, Riley, my daughter, Jake, Roars, and I are excited. Jake and Riley are my children, as I'm sure a lot of you know. And Roars, Rory the Wonder Cat, I'm sure she's very excited. Years ago, I used to come on the air and she would chew through the webcam and literally got me off the air like 2 or 3 times. So I doubt that she's excited. But Riley and Jake and Roars, thank you for watching. Oh, Kimberly Rose is here. Hi, Kimberly. Thanks for tuning in. Just tried to change it. I was the Facebook user from before. Glad you could be here. Thanks for tuning in. Linda Canalicchio, yes, your picture's up. Good to be here. Hi, glad to finally join in with a heart. I'm glad you're here too. I'm sorry I can't see your name, but if you log off and log back on and give StreamYard permission, you should be able to. Karen's here. Hello, Karen. Diana McGillivary Brusso's here. Hello. Kimberly Rose says, this holiday was just myself, my husband, and my children. I didn't have to cook and entertain for the whole family, which was very different, but I must admit I enjoyed it. I was not overworked and not overstressed. My pain didn't spike as high as it usually does from pushing myself. We played games and watched movies. It was great. Oh my gosh, Kimberly. It's like you took the words out of my mouth. It was the same thing for me. I mentioned it a little bit, like I didn't have unneeded stress on myself. I didn't send out Christmas cards, which always stresses me out, and I'm not sure why. We did take a picture Christmas Day. I put it on Facebook and pretty much said, this is our Christmas card. And, I don't want to do that every year, but it was really nice this year. We didn't decorate our tree this year at all. We have a tree. Excuse me. We had a tree. We have a tree still. Rob put the lights up. There's no ornaments. There's a few ornaments on it. Just ones that we had around, family ornaments that we were showing to my parents when they visited, but we did not decorate the tree. So it is sitting up there as we speak, ready to be taken out into the garage, to go to the mulcher for our town. We never got the ornaments up. We didn't care. We still had a great time. We played Christmas music. We played board games, like you said, Kimberly. Watched movies. We watched the whole Harry Potter series. We're getting ready. Oh no, right. I was going to say we're getting ready to watch the last one. We're not. We started the second to last one last night. And somebody, I won't mention the name, Rob, fell asleep. So we're going to finish that maybe tonight after the broadcast. I'm not sure, but I'm glad that you Kimberly, had such a great holiday. Same with me. Julia says there's a program called Bounce Back, maybe called different thing in different countries, but they have amazing workbooks to help with mental health. Working Now on workbook, understanding how we respond to illness. Sounds great. Bounce Back is the name. That's wonderful. Thanks, Julia. That's great. I'm bouncing around here myself, speaking of Bounce Back, but I wanted to read you guys something that Karen Goldberg sent to me. It was a few weeks ago, and I think I had read it before. I'm not quite sure. My memory isn't the greatest, but it was written by my best friend, which I say in quotes, Brene Brown. And it was kind of like the jumping off point as to why I wanted to do this episode tonight. And it is, I say Brene Brown is my best friend because I consider her my best friend, even though we've never met, but I know we would be best friends if we met. So if you know Brene Brown, show her my episodes because I know she's going to love me and we'll be best friends. At any rate, she wrote this. It's called Manifesto of the Brave and Brokenhearted. I'll probably cry reading it because it's just so beautiful. But it made me think of all of you who are trying so hard. So Manifesto of the Brave and Brokenhearted. There is no greater threat to the critics and cynics and fearmongers than those of us who are willing to fall because we have learned how to rise. With skinned knees and bruised hearts, we choose owning our stories of struggle over hiding, over hustling, over pretending. When we deny our stories, they define us. When we run from struggle, we are never free. So we turn toward truth and look it in the eye. We will not be the characters in our stories, not villains, not victims, not even heroes. We are authors of our own lives. We write our own daring endings. We craft love from heartbreak, compassion from shame, grace from disappointment, courage from failure. Showing up is our power. Story is our way home. Truth is our song. We are the brave and brokenhearted. We are rising strong. And I will post that for you guys. Brene Brown again wrote that. I wrote it in one of my many journals, but I wrote it in here so I can look at it because it's just so beautiful and so authentic and so vulnerable. And that I'm not even sure that I said what my number one tip was for the year, but that is kind of alluding to, and it's being vulnerable and authentic. I think those of you that know me in the group and here in the broadcast know that I'm not exactly inauthentic. I do things like this when my bra strap is showing. I talk about my gray hair. I share my story. Not that makes up those things make up my story, but I find that authenticity and being vulnerable is just so much easier than trying to be perfect. And I use perfect in quotes too, because it doesn't exist. I want to challenge you all to stop striving for perfection in 2021, because I have a spoiler alert. There's no such thing. And another spoiler alert is you gain people that want to be around you when you share your story with them, when you own your story and don't let it define you. Because when we hide our stories, like Brene said in not so many words, when we hide our story, it has power over us. And we don't need it to have power over us. You know, years ago, it's been almost 8 years since I've been sober from alcohol. June 20, 2013. When I first got sober, I didn't like to tell people that weren't in, you know, obviously my family knew, my close friends knew, but I was embarrassed. I was very embarrassed by it. I'm not really sure why now. In hindsight, I'm not really sure why I was so embarrassed. Alcoholism it's a mental illness. Drinking alcohol is a symptom of mental illness. I'm sure many of you who are in recovery of any kind know this. But I hid it for a while. I think it was a couple of years, actually, I hid it. And I started this group, Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain, and I started being more open about it. And for my pain story and my alcohol story kind of went hand in hand. I was using alcohol as my pain medicine, my physical pain and my emotional pain. And I was drowning my sorrows and my pain in alcohol, thinking that it helped. And it didn't. It did initially. That little buzz helped. But I didn't stop at that little buzz. And I don't recommend alcohol on top of any medications for sure. I was killing myself without trying to kill myself. I don't know why I'm not dead, but I'm not. And I think I know there's a reason for that. So I like sharing my story with people to show that mental illness, alcoholism, chronic pain syndrome, having to hide any of it, depression, anxiety, we don't need to hide this stuff, you guys. We can share with each other because that's how we get better. And I want to, again, encourage you all to share your stories, be vulnerable, join a group, doesn't have to be my group. Join a group of any kind. If you live with eating disorders, join, a group, Weight Watchers. There's about 140 something different 12-step programs. I'm a member of a few of them, a board member of one, Chronic Pain Anonymous, to help people live with chronic pain and illness. Like I said earlier, life is so hard, and we can help each other recover from this stuff by sharing our stories and not letting it have power over us. I'd love to hear from you guys how you share your story. I did a blog post just a couple days ago, I think, and let me show it. It's on journaling, and that was going to be my number two tip of tonight, is to start a journal if you don't already keep one. And it doesn't have to be this big thing. Let me show you the blog post. Hang on. Clearly, you will see that the seminar I took on having a good broadcast without technical difficulties is not really paying off much for me, but that's okay. That's part of my shtick, I guess. So let me share screen. Where's my website? Here it is. Can we see it? We can. Doesn't it look nice? I worked so hard on this. I did. So here is, wrong blog post. Well, I'll share about that one too. I did one, when did I do it? New Year's Eve, on setting intentions and not resolutions. Let me talk about that. I'm jumping all over the place, I realize, but I meant to talk about that. I keep these like an overview, an outline of what I want to talk about. I glance at it once in a while. I probably should look at it more because I do jump around from topic to topic. So thanks to all of you for bearing with me. But I wrote a blog post on New Year's Eve called Set Intentions, Not Resolutions. Because, why? Because I feel that intentions are a lot less pressure on us. Setting resolutions is kind of like what I was talking about with kind of putting all your eggs in one basket and wishing for a great 2021. Intentions are great because they set a map for us for the future. They show where we want to go in the future, and where we want to go in 2021. They can be a continuation of what we've learned in 2020, but it doesn't have to be so cut and dry. I would love to hear, rather than I want to lose 10 pounds, that I'd like to eat a little bit healthier in 2021. It's so much less pressure, you guys. We pressure ourselves so much. And as we could tell from 2020, there's so much outside pressure on us already. We don't need to put that internal pressure on ourselves with these hardcore resolutions. Set intentions like keeping a journal. And that's another blog post I did. Let me see if I can find that. Hang on. Are we still on share post? Oh, we are still on share post. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let me show you my other blog post that I wrote. This was just a couple days ago. And it's called How Journaling Helps Chronic Pain and 6 Ways to Get Started. And I talk about journaling and how helpful it can be. It can help us to become more authentic and vulnerable by writing in our journal. Nobody has to see this. Nobody will see it if you don't want them to see it until after you're dead, but that's a long time away. And our journals probably aren't all that interesting to people, to be honest. But it's for you. It's for your own benefit to learn and look back from where you've come. And trust me, as hard as 2020 was, you came and grew so much in 2020. I know I did. I'm not unique. We all did. Those of you that have been with me for 32 now episodes know that we teach each other each week how to do things a little bit easier and how we can better ourselves and have, better lives and easier lives. We can set these hacks for ourselves. So journaling helps us in a few ways. It doesn't have to be this long drawn out story, you guys. I talk about you can have a regular journal. You can have a journal that lists gratitude, which clearly I'm a big fan of gratitude. I talked on our last episode a few weeks ago about my best friend, Brene. I think I gave there's a video clip of her saying that in all of her interviews and research that she's done, she's a shame researcher, that she's never met somebody who has had joy who does not have a practice of gratitude. And, I'll repeat this every episode that I ever have, that gratitude is such an important part of how we live, especially now, because we can get so caught up in the negative that we forget to focus on what's right in front of us, the blessings. It's great. The blessings that are right in front of us. Yesterday was a rough day. It was a rough day without saying anything. We all had a rough day yesterday in a lot of ways. And, by listing our gratitude every day, it doesn't have to be anything great. It can be that I always use these: clean drinking water, clean air to breathe, a roof over your head, family around, you talked to a friend, you had a great group like Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain, you saw a great quote. You can write down those quotes in your journal. These are the things that get us through the days. These are the things that actually helped me to start Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain 6 years ago. And next week is actually, next Wednesday is our 6-year anniversary, which I'm crazy proud of. Crazy proud of. And we're going to have an anniversary episode next Wednesday. So I won't be broadcasting next Thursday. It's going to be, for those of you that are in the group, it's going to be an exclusive episode just for people in Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. So for those of you not in the group, I will see you again the following week. But for those of you in the group, I'll have a special episode just for us. There's going to be prizes and all sorts of fun, memories from the past 6 years. If you want to be a part of the group, we would love to have you on Facebook, Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. I'll put a link at the end of the episode. But anyway, that's why I started AOG. It was because I couldn't find a group for people that lived with chronic pain and illness that wasn't depressing. We live these depressing lives a lot of times. And so I wanted to find a group that we weren't going to ignore the bad things, because we can't ignore the bad things. We need to vent. Venting is an important part of how we recover. Like I said, with mental illness, with chronic illness, whatever, we need to be able to share this with people or we'll explode. It's not healthy not to. But I started the group just as a way to share some quotes and some good things and some gratitude. And now it's grown to over 5,500 members in 6 years, which is kind of amazing to me. So yeah, I started saying this because of journaling. Do a journal with your worries. Do a journal with your gratitudes. Do a journal sharing your stories. My sister came up with this idea. Hi, Kim. My parents are doing, I think it's called Storyworth, and it's online. And she sent my parents this link at Christmas time, and they go on, and I think the app asks them questions about their stories. Their stories. They've been alive for 75 years. Sorry, Mom and Dad, I just gave away your age, but they've lived a lot of life in 75 years. And so I think they get a journaling prompt, and then they write it online and they share it with us, their family. And so we get to read. I'm trying to think of what one of the prompts was the other day. I forget what the prompt was, but I think it was what is one of your earliest memories? And my dad shared about he wasn't living. His mom died when he was 2. He lived with his uncles who were Swedish, and he remembered picking blueberries with them. And they used tin cans and they cut off the top, and that was their containers to pick the blueberries. And that's something I didn't know. And so him sharing that with us, sharing their stories, and that's just one example. My mom has shared things too. These stories are precious, and they're stories that I will never forget. And they keep them in this app, and they can turn them into a book actually for my sister and I and all the grandkids. I'm pretty sure it's called storyworth.com, STORYWORTH. Kim and company, Mom and Dad, if you're watching and you want to correct me on that, please feel free. But I don't remember if it's free or not. I don't get any kickback from the company, but it's a beautiful thing that my parents are giving to us with their stories. So your journals, if you keep a journal, can share your joys, your sorrows, getting out your worries, putting it on paper. Like I said earlier with Brene Brown, gives it so much less power over us, you guys, because when we hold things in and we don't get it out, it has power over us, and it can make us really, really sick. Let me get to some more comments from people. Where did I leave off? Bounce back. Facebook user says, we celebrated on Christmas Eve and shared the meal by delivering to our son and wife and my mom. We spent the night with family on Zoom. Normally we have 12 to 17 people here. This was so much better. That's from Arlene Hildred. Perfect. That sounds great, Arlene. Thank you for sharing that with us. Julie says, I love this piece. Where did you find it again? I assume you mean Brene Brown's, it's called Manifesto of the Brave and Brokenhearted. And I will put it in the comments, and I will share it in the group after I'm done with the broadcast. But Manifesto of the Brave and Brokenhearted. I believe it's from her newest book, which is called Rising Strong. The last line of this manifesto is called We Are Rising Strong. Let me just share that last paragraph again because it's so powerful. Showing up is our power. Story is our way home. Truth is our song. We are the brave and brokenhearted. We are rising strong. So again, I will share this manifesto in the group and at the end of the broadcast for those of you who are interested. But if you come back, look at the broadcast, you'll be able to see it. I read it sort of at the beginning of the episode. Kimberly Rose liked that too. Karen Hildred likes celebration. I'm glad. Facebook user says, I'm journaling by writing my essays. It helps me write and helps me get my thoughts on paper. That's great. Arlene wrote that. Great. Julia wrote, I took a journaling class. We did a poem from where I'm from, and she gave us a template with blank spots, and we had to fill in whatever was asked for. And in the end, poem became our personal story poem. It was amazing. Google where I'm from poem and template of the poem with blanks to do. Hope I got that right, Julia. I can see you're using auto text, which I use all the time. It's wonderful. But start a journal. What were some of the other things I wrote in my article about journaling? Listing your worries, list your gratitudes. Robert Emmons, who is the king of gratitude, and I am determined to get him on this broadcast, hopefully in the new year. He writes that gratitude journaling promotes the savoring of positive life experiences and situations so that we can distill the maximum satisfaction and enjoyment from them. This promotes a shift in consciousness from what we are lacking to the abundance that surrounds us. So that's a very technical way of saying what I kind of said, that shows us when we write down our blessings and our gratitudes, it reminds us of what we have to be grateful for. We can also write down our intentions, which I listed. Instead of writing your resolutions, write down your intentions for the year. Do you want to eat healthier? Do you want to keep a journal? Do you want to find more joy in your life? Do you want to, what are some of the other intentions? You want to take more naps? Do you want to go to bed earlier? List these intentions and put a lot less pressure on yourself than the resolutions. I promise you. We do intentions every single morning in AOG, in the Facebook group. We list our intentions for the day. Those of us that live with a chronic condition, know that if we set these hardcore goals for ourselves, if we're not able to fulfill them, it gives us resentments against ourselves. And we don't need that. We have enough pain already. We don't need to put resentments on ourselves. So list it as an intention because it's something we intend to do. In 5 minutes, our conditions may take us in a different direction. Our pain may get worse. It may get better. We don't know. We never know because our conditions are this ebb and flow throughout the day. So listing intentions is a lot less pressure on ourselves. This is obviously my sister. Hi, Laura. That's from John B. I call my sister, Kim. You were correct. Storyworth.com. Definitely not free. Okay, I take that as it costs some money. Is there a free version maybe? Check it out, whatever it costs. If you're interested in doing that with your family, it's a beautiful thing to do. And maybe you can get some stories from your family, share them with each other. If you don't do storyworth.com, there is a game. Do I have it here? No. I meant to do this last episode. I think it starts with a V. That is so not helpful. Campbell, if you're watching, you know the game. Got it for our families a couple of years ago. And you can get all sorts of games with journaling prompts. Jill Cook gave me these. This one's called Wordsmith. This one is called What's Your Word? There's all sorts of things you can do. You can find them free online too. If you do them on Zoom, we did this on Christmas Day with my family. Find a question to ask your family and then have everybody answer it. You know, what was your earliest memory? It's a great way to get to know your family better. It's a great way to show your vulnerability, share your story with each other. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to share with each other. Share it in your journal, share it online. Zoom has become my family's best friend, and I know many of you as well. Julie says, sorry for so many typos. Do not worry about it at all. Just glad that you are participating. Vertellus from my sister. Yes, it's called Vertellus, and it is from the Netherlands, Denmark. It's a super popular game there. And it really is just as simple as these cards that you look at and share. You can share a story each week. Vertellus, it is in English. We have the English version, but I forget. It's super popular in either Denmark, Holland, one of those. Clearly, I'm very organized tonight. So what else did I want to talk to you guys about? Owning your story, being vulnerable, having a journal. The other thing I want to mention before we go is something, my third thing. So I want to be more vulnerable, practice authenticity is number one. Number two is journaling more. And I'm a big journaler. I have about 6 journals going. They're not all for writing my stories, my gratitudes, and all that. I have a planner. Oops. This is my planner, which I use for my work. You would think, why does somebody who doesn't go out much need a planner? But as you can see, I fill up, each one of these is for every day. I fill up for working in the group. I have one for the book I'm writing. I have one, this is the one I use for writing down quotes and my daily thoughts, pictures, things I've seen, you know, whatever. Journaling doesn't have to be anything. Journaling can be so personal and whatever you want it to be. And it doesn't have to be every day either. You can do it once a week. Robert Emmons, who I mentioned earlier, talks about journaling. I think he did studies that said even listing your gratitudes once a week. I could be wrong about this, but I think he even said it could be more beneficial for some than writing them every day. Don't quote me on that, but you can research that. But even if you do it once a week, you don't have to commit to a daily thing of writing this long thing. Whatever you can write is helpful. Again, it gives everything a lot less power. I got to write the Netherlands. All right, Vertellus is the name, Vertellis from the Netherlands. You can find it on Amazon. I don't get a kickback again, but I highly recommend this game. Let me get to, before we go, I meant to ask you guys some questions. So I'm just going to throw a couple out there for you to answer because I really like to hear from you all during the broadcast, and I've been talking a lot. What are your intentions for 2021? I'd love to hear that. How are you planning on using your intentions for your own growth in 2021? And along the same lines, what are some of the lessons that you learned in 2020? And I'll just throw this third one out there. How will you find joy in 2021? 2021, as I keep mentioning, is the year of joy. And this is a self-proclaimed thing. I determined at our last episode, our last broadcast, that 2021 is the year of joy and finding joy, cultivating gratitude, and finding as much joy as possible without focusing on the CRAP that has been coming at us every single day, a lot more lately than usual. So anyway, number 3. So let me say the questions again. Your intentions for 2021, I'd love to hear. the lessons you learned in 2020, and how will you find joy in 2021? My third thing that is going to be an intention of mine and has already become a very huge help to me is practicing mindfulness and doing meditation every day. That is an intention of mine, and I have kept to that. Those of you in the group know that I am a big fan of a woman named Vidyamala Birch, who, not to brag or anything, but she's going to be on the show with us in 2 weeks on January 21st. She has written 2 books. This was the first one, which I think might be out of print, but I found it on Amazon anyway. Living Well with Pain and Illness, The Mindful Way to Free Yourself from Suffering. This is her newer one, You Are Not Your Pain. She's the founder of a company called Breathworks. And basically, she is a big proponent of mindfulness for living with chronic pain and illness. She is wheelchair bound. She was injured as a child and is wheelchair bound, I think, all of the time, but she'll share with us in 2 weeks. And she puts out, you can find her meditations on YouTube, and those are free. And I post them just about every day in the group. She also, on Tuesdays, I've been going on her website. Did I write it down? I should write it down. Let me write her name down and I'll share it with you guys. So if you want to get her books or check her out on her website and her Facebook page, share this. This is her name. I'll leave that up for a minute so you can look it up. She has a great Facebook page, YouTube channel. You can find, she has meditations that are 10 minutes long. And I post these in the group a lot because many of us cannot do longer than 10 minutes. We do these breath breaks every day at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. And sometimes I post, they're all guided meditations. I do not do them because I don't think my voice is soothing enough, nor am I knowledgeable enough. Maybe I am now, but my voice is definitely not soothing enough to do guided meditations. But I'm really, really good at finding them on YouTube. So sometimes I'll post breath breaks in the middle of the day that are only 2 minutes long, 3 minutes long, 5 minutes long. If you take this time, and you are so worth this time, you guys, and I know it can sound real like new agey and kind of like, I don't want to do that. I can't tell you how much it has helped me. And not just in living with my chronic pain, but in living with my emotional pain, in living with the hard struggles that have come my way recently. And I know, again, I'm not unique in that. We all live with this. Take the time. You can do it in the beginning of the day if you want to start your day off like that. In the middle, excuse me, I tend to like it in the middle of the day just because I get going with that planner of mine. I'm like, I got to do this and put this post up. And, I love my work. I love my writing so much, but I can get carried away with it and I can work until late at night because I love it so much. Setting aside that time in the middle of the day has been incredibly beneficial to my overall well-being. So Vidyamala Birch, she does these 10-minute meditations, which I post in the group. I've been posting them more every day lately, just so you can all get to know her and her work. The 10 minutes is a really great amount of time for us to just kind of check in with ourselves, slow ourselves down. Clearly, from listening to me now for almost an hour, you can see that I need to slow myself down. And this is incredibly beneficial to me to just kind of, like I keep saying, check in with yourself. She will share with us in 2 weeks. I wanted to have an expert on mindfulness on, and boy, she's going to be a great one for us. Oh, I should mention, although she's going to be on the show in 2 weeks on the same day, she's from the UK. And because she lives with chronic pain and illness, and because of the time difference, it's going to be earlier. So it's January 21st. It's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time rather than our regularly scheduled 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I will be advertising that And of course, if you can't make 4 p.m. and can't make it live, it will be recorded so you can watch it. But I would love for you all to become more familiar with her work. If you can tune in live, you'll be able to ask her questions. I don't know if she's going to be, I would like to ask her to do a short meditation with us that day. I have a feeling she will. She's a wonderful, wonderful teacher, spiritual guide. You don't have to live with chronic pain and illness to love her work. So again, Vidyamala Birch, I'll show her books again. This is the most recent one, which I think she put out. I think it's been 2013. So I don't think it's all that recent, but it is still in print. 2013. So look her up on Facebook. Look up, let me do this one too. I should have had this set, breathworks.com or Breathworks Facebook page. She's got a Facebook page for both herself and her company Breathworks. I think in the UK last year she was given an award of one of the 100 most influential people with disabilities in the UK. So she's just wonderful. This book comes with a CD. I don't know that many people use CDs anymore, but a CD with a lot of her meditations. So that's my number 3, which is to do more mindfulness and meditation every day. And I started mentioning a few minutes ago that each Tuesday, Vidyamala, through her Breathworks website, is offering a free guided meditation. She calls it, what is it called? Something with breath. Hang on. I did write it down. Did I? Oh my goodness. Space to Breathe. It's called Space to Breathe. She does it on Zoom, and it's at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's free on Zoom. And I've been going on every week for about a month and a half now. They're wonderful. Oh my gosh, they are so wonderful. They're 30 minutes long. If you can't make the whole 30 minutes, that's fine. And those are recorded too. So like these Gratefully Living the Chronic Life episodes, if you can't make 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, go on breathworks.com or her Breathworks Facebook page, and you will be able to see, they're on YouTube, I think. You will be able to see all of her previous episodes. And gosh, they're so great. I feel like $1 million after each one. So Space to Breathe is what they're called. They're on Zoom. They are free. And that's what's so great about her meditations is you can find them on YouTube for free. So that's my number 3. So 3 things to bring joy. Did you guys get the 3 things in all this episode? Let me say them again. So number 1 was being more authentic and vulnerable. I'm not sure that I can even be more authentic and vulnerable, but I'm going to try. I have nothing to hide. I'm going to share all my ugly warts with you all because that's how I heal. And I'm hoping that by sharing my story, that's how I can help you all to heal as well. Because there's nothing to be embarrassed of, and our stories will own us if we don't share them. So that's number 1. Number 2 was to journal. And I've shared with you all through this episode different ways that you can journal. If you haven't gotten those things, if I haven't listed all of them, go to my website at gratitudeaddict.com, and you will see all the recent gratitude-based posts that I have up there, including, let me share this one again. Am I still sharing it? I am not. Let me share it again. Here we go. Gratitudeaddict.com and my most recent blog post, How Journaling Helps Chronic Pain and 6 Ways to Get Started. And I don't want the name of the article to fool you. I really kind of should have named the article How It Helps Anxiety, because I use a lot of studies and research on how it helps anxiety. Chronic pain and anxiety kind of go hand in hand. So it really, probably rather than chronic pain, I should have said how journaling helps anxiety. So that was number 2. And number 3 is mindfulness. And I didn't get all that into the mindfulness part because I want Vidyamala to do that in 2 weeks. So I'm going to end on that. Oh, let me just get to your comments before We leave. We're at the hour already. Pamela Creighton, my intention is to continue to live and grow and be kind to myself and others. That's a beautiful intention. Thank you, Pamela. Heidi says, I intend to make healthier food and make my home look nicer. Oh, Heidi. Heidi comes to our Flush the Format live chats twice a week. And I tease her all the time in a good way, because Heidi is always busy she's always busy doing something while she's on the air on Zoom with us. So I don't know how you can make your home look nicer, Heidi. It looks beautiful, but I totally respect and honor your intention. Pamela says, I intend to push my boundaries. I like that one a lot. I was going to mention that tonight, but that pushing our boundaries and being afraid to fail. I wrote this down, that there's an anagram for fail, which is failing is first attempts in learning. Fail, F-A-I-L, first attempts in learning. And if we don't make mistakes, we're not pushing our boundaries. So I love that one, Pamela. Thank you for sharing that with us. I really love that intention. I intend to do that same thing as well. My mom says, I plan to experience the utmost of joy in 2021 by hugging my family. I sure hope so too, Mom. I miss your hugs. My mom has the best hugs on the planet. Yes, that's a beautiful intention. I sure hope we can all start hugging each other again in 2021. Linda Canalicchio says, when you say own your story, what does that mean? What I mean by owning your story is not showing your story, being authentic, sharing it with others, which is kind of what we do in AOG, sharing our story, come to Flush the Format and share maybe some of the truths that you have that are holding you hostage, if you have any. I think we all kind of have some. When I was hiding my story, when I was hiding my alcoholism, it owned me. It was kind of paralyzing how much it owned me. So I'm sorry I didn't share kind of what that meant, but that's what I mean by sharing your story. And if you don't want to share it with others, write it down in your journal. Just by writing it down in your journal, it takes some of the power off of you. Thanks, Linda. My dad says, joy in 2021 will start when I can hug you, your sister, my sons-in-law, and our 6 grandkids again. Aw. Do we have any more? Arlene says, this year I've decided it'll be the year of clear, C-L-E-A-R, view, V-I-E-W, caring, learning, editing, art, reading, venture, improvising, and courage and writing. I love that, Arlene. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, all of you. I know I went a few minutes long. Thank you for tuning in to our episode 32. Thanks to all of my family for always being so supportive and tuning in. Again, my name is Lauren Blanchard-Zaleski. Our group is Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. My website is gratitudeaddict.com. Do I have that on here? I do. Gratitudeaddict.com. You can find out more about my group and all of the other stuff, my blog posts, everything kind of about me, my story on gratitudeaddict.com. Gratitudeaddict.com. Our YouTube channels at Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain. You can find all of our previous episodes there and on gratitudeaddict.com. And I'll see you again in 2 weeks. If you're in the group, I will see you not next Thursday, but next Wednesday, the 13th, which is our 6-year anniversary of AOG. I'm incredibly humbled by that. Thanks to all of you who are members. And if you're not a member, come join us. We have a lot of fun. So I will see you, if not in 2 weeks. If you're in the group, I'll see you in 1 week. The rest of you, I'll see you in 2 weeks with Vidya Mala Birch. I love you all. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that you learned something tonight and that I was able to help you a little bit. Thanks to all of you for helping me to learn a little bit. So I love you all. Peace and love, gang. Bye.